Hello again and welcome to yet another tutorial by Level Up Networks. Today we're going to continue our session of Microsoft Teams with the live events function. So basically the live events function is to set up a webinar through Microsoft Teams so you can present internally or even externally. So I'm going to go through all the do's and don'ts and the things you can do and cannot do with Microsoft Teams live events. Okay, let's get started. Hello again. So today we're going to go over Microsoft Teams live events. So essentially, what's the difference between live events and just setting up a normal meeting? Well, it's very simple. Just to do a normal meeting, you always would do it through your calendar, as I have it open right now, and it's an easy way for you to have interaction, a bit of collaboration between every member of the meeting. You'll see everyone's video, everyone can present, everyone can share their desktop. So it's a bit more of a, if you have like a one-on-one meeting, or if you're in the boardroom with your different team members, even external people, and you can all basically have that normal meeting between each other. Whereas live events, it's more of sort of a webinar process where you have one presenter or multiple presenters, and then everyone would be sort of a guest in that meeting. They won't be able to speak, they won't be able to interact, although there is a way, but I'll show you that in a little bit. And it's more for you to present a product or figures for your entire company, or you want to just present a launch of a product, and you don't want people to be interacting or disturbing the meeting process. So it's like just your normal webinar that you see that's been around for years. So in order to be able to enable live events, you would most likely need to upgrade your 365 license. Now, with your normal standard or premium, or as they were called before, now they're just Microsoft Basic and Microsoft Standard licenses. You cannot do this anymore. You were able to do this back in the days with Premium, but Microsoft made some changes, and now you can. So you need now to have an enterprise level license. So you can either have a Microsoft or an Office E1, E3, or E5 license in order to activate this capability to your Microsoft Teams. Now, a lot of questions that I've been asked from clients is that we do the upgrade for the license, and it does take a little bit to appear. So it's not immediate, everyone. It may take up to 48 hours for the actual live events to show once you've activated the license to the particular user or users. So bear that in mind. And also you have to ensure that you sign out and sign in again into Teams for it to appear. Okay, so let's crack on. So I've opened my calendar, and as you can see now here in the top right hand side, you have the usual ones of Meet Now and New Meeting, but now you have a drop down. So if you go to the drop down, you have the option, as you had before, to schedule a meeting. But in this case, the one we want is this live events. So let's get cracking and click on live events. So when you click on live events, you will get this first portal where I'll go through every point so you understand. So the first thing obviously is the title. So we can just go mock meeting. Location if you want to put one. Let's put one for tomorrow. For Monday the 21st. Perfect. Between 2 and 2:30. The details is you can explain what the meeting's about. You can put your agenda, the points you're going to talk about, point 1, point 2, Q&A, and conclusion, whatever. Perfect. Now, as you can see, by default, obviously because you are setting up the live events, it puts you as a producer. And here you can invite other presenters. Now, what's the difference between a producer and a presenter? mostly it's just permissions. So the producer will be able to set up the meeting, make adjustments to it. You'll see the settings after that. And the presenter will just be people that will be helping you to present the actual meetings. Sorry for the redundancy. So if we add someone else, let's say, for example, we add John. So let's add John. And as you can see, it puts him as a presenter. So here there's a little drop down on both myself and John. And you can choose between being a producer or a presenter. I'll leave him as a presenter. Actually, you know what? I'm going to remove him because I don't want him to bombard me now with messages to see that he's received an invite. So I'll remove him, but you get the point. To invite someone else, you just write the person's name and you put him into the group. I'll remove him now just so he won't get annoyed on a Sunday. And then we just click on next. Now, these are in theory the permissions you can add to your live events. So from default, you will only have these two, which are people in groups, and org-wide, which is organization-wide. But for public, you need to go to your tenant permissions and allow this. I will put it in the link in the bottom to say how you can do this. So for example, people in groups is just so you can specifically invite people. Org-wide means everyone in your organization can join this live event. And public is the same, that's literally open for everyone. So I'll leave it for this case just org-wide because we're not going to invite anyone really. And then you have a few more options. How will you produce your live events? So by default, it records the live event for you, and then it will make it available for everyone if you wish. So in this case, as you can see here is grayed out because you can't change this. The recording will be available to all producers and presenters. Now this is handy because let's say, for example, you wish to trim it. Like for example, the minute you start the meeting, it will start recording. So best practices would be to start the meeting a few minutes later, a few minutes earlier, and just make sure that your camera works, that you have, you know, all your PowerPoint presentations or all the documents you wish to present. If you want to put any videos, so have that all sorted out just so you can see that everything's ready before you go live. So obviously, if you don't allow the second one, which is recording available to attendees, then you might want to, you know, edit the video before you make it available to all your organization or to everyone who was present in that live event. Now, for that particular reason, I tend to remove the recording available for attendees. Now, why is that? Because like I said, if you're gonna take, I don't know, 10-15 minutes to prepare everything, that means that the video that the attendees will be able to download later will include that preparation time, so they'll just see, you know, a muted scene for 10-15 minutes, or they're going to see you maybe working around. So you don't want that. Now this is pretty cool, the captions. So the captions will actually transcribe what you're saying on the screen as you do it. So if you have any hearing impaired, or you have people that maybe English is not their first language, or the language you use is not the first language, then this will put it on the language you're speaking, so they can read as you speak. Now, like every transcribing service, you know, it's very good. Don't get me wrong; it's pretty accurate, but there are words at times that are not exactly what you're saying, and but nonetheless, it's well worth it. So you can say here the spoken language. So you just drop down. So at the moment, it's only these three: English, German, and Chinese. Now I only know English out of those, so we'll leave it as English. And then you can translate it into these different languages. So as you can see, there's many different versions. So you have, for example, Welsh. I don't know. You have, Turkish. Let's see if it has, actually, I didn't notice if it has English in UK. Let's have a look. No, English is only available for US. But as you can see, there's quite a few, and you can translate up to 6 languages, which is pretty good. So the attendee engagement report, this is a report you can later on download, which will give you some really cool statistics about your webinar. And this is if you want to include Q&A, so questions and answers. So essentially what this is going to do is that it's going to enable the internal chats where your participants can ask questions and you can either decide to answer them as they go, or if you want to organize it to just have a particular session as we did previously for Q&As, then you can answer all the questions as they go. So it's a way for people to interact with you in the webinar. This is completely optional. And another cool thing is that when you ticket is that you can tell your people in the webinar that you will answer all questions later. So by email, for example. So this will actually download a spreadsheet with all the questions where you can then take your time and then personally get back to everyone or as a whole and answer those particular questions. An external app or device. This is just, if you don't feel comfortable using Microsoft Teams to present, you can use an external application or a device. Maybe you can choose your phone, or you can choose another provider. We're not going to put this now, but that option is also available. And then for support, so if you want to put here websites, which is particular to this particular topic you wish to speak to, so maybe send them to, I don't know, a blog of yours, or if you want to send them to a specific section of your website that discusses this particular product you're talking about, or service, or whatever topic you chose, you can put the URL there. And when you send the invite to people, you will see this on the actual comments of the presentation that you're giving. Okay, so let's go on and let's schedule it. So we clicked on schedule. All right, so this is very important. So as you can see here, you will get a different link than your participants. Now, why is this? So essentially what you're going to do is that you're going to have a private link for you and your presenters where you can go and set up and you can organize the meeting and put more permissions. You can choose which camera to use. So all the things you need to do prior to going live. Whereas the attendees will get a different link to just join the meeting. So this is the one you want to copy and send over to the people in the webinar, or you want to publish on your website or your newsletter or wherever you're using to publicize your webinar. It could be YouTube. So this is the link you send them. Don't send them this, because then this will grant them access to the producer settings, and you definitely don't want to do this. Okay, so here it just tells you, just the basics, going over the things you just did. So your agenda, for example, you can edit it or you can close it. So let's just close it. We don't want to edit. We like it as it is. And then we can go to our calendar, and here, as you can see, it has our mock meeting. Now, let's join it, just so you can see how it looks on the back end. So let's go to mock meeting and join. Okay, so let me just, so from start, you can put the video on, just as you do a meeting. Now, I would suggest not to have the video on when you start, in case you got some trigger happy people that want to join the meeting as soon as they get the link. So this way, they won't see you there. All you want to do, for example, is just put like your logo there, or just a little splash screen saying we'll be with you shortly. Then that's what you would do it. So I'm going to turn off the camera on Teams here. Perfect. And now let's go to join now, so you can see exactly what you will see. So we're connecting as a producer. Perfect. So here you go. This is how it looks once you go into the actual production size of your webinar. So it will tell you, for example, the name of the meeting. You can have here how long is being recording. So this is actually, guys, just so you know, if the minute you go live, it starts recording. So right now it's pre-live, which means we are setting it up. Then here we have some analytics. So essentially it tells us the connection quality. Then the next section here is the show the Q&A. So essentially this is what I was telling you earlier, where your participants can actually post their questions there, and that's where you will see them. And like I said, you can choose to either answer them as you go, or you can just have a particular section at the end of your segment where you're answering all the questions. Or if you even prefer, you can just let everyone ask their questions, and then when you finish, you tell everyone who's registered to the actual meeting that you will send them an email answering all the questions, and you can actually download all the questions once you finish your actual meeting. You'll have availability to download your transcripts. So after that, you can go here your meeting notes. So this is very handy. So let's say, for example, it's yourself and you have a few presenters. You can write notes as you go. Maybe you want to remind yourself about, I don't know, another idea you had for another webinar because of the questions that were coming up. You would say, okay, if many people ask you about a particular subject, you can say, okay, you know what? Because, I don't know, 10 people ask me the same question, I will do a particular meeting or a particular webinar to address that particular issue. So it's very handy. Then you have the chat. So this is where people can put messages. You can talk to the other presenters, which is, instead of you having to get your phone out or interrupt the talker, you can say, okay, you know what, mention this right now. So you can do that. And this is to invite other people. Now, bear in mind, this is not to invite attendees. This is only to invite presenters or producers. So let's say, for example, you sent an email and that person accidentally deleted it. So they send you a message, hey mate, I lost the link, send it. So you just copy it and you email it to this person. Or if it's you presenting and one of your other presenters can do it for you. So this is also handy if you want to send it, or you notice that maybe someone's microphone's on, you can mute them from here. So you can do a couple of things from there. And then finally here are your settings panel to this particular meeting, which shows you, your audio devices, maybe the microphone's too loud or the speaker's too loud, so you can adjust it from here. Or maybe they can't hear you, so you have to choose a different microphone. Or they can't see you. Same thing with the camera. Now for me here it says OBS camera, which is a virtual camera. Now this is so you can see me handily here over here on the bottom. But yeah, by default maybe you wish to put your normal camera. And then finally, this is to turn the live captions. So by default, even though you've chosen the settings to put captions, it won't automatically put them on. So this is where you select them on. So we go back to the main screen of the live events, and this, as you can see, where you can put what content you want to put, and then this is what people will be seeing. Now obviously this has not started as of yet, so obviously there's nothing being streamed. But let's say, for example, we wish to add a PowerPoint presentation. So the key thing here is obviously while you're preparing, make sure that everything you're going to use is open prior to going live. Now, it's not essential to do this, as you can open as you go, but it will look much better and it'll be more professional if everything you're going to use is open previously. Okay, so let's say, for example, I want to share a Microsoft presentation from PowerPoint. So we just go down here where it says share, And as you can see here, you can share either the screen or you can just set the window. Now, because I want to use the PowerPoint presentation as a full screen mode, let me just prepare that quickly. So I'm going to put my presentation here in presentation mode, which is precisely this. Perfect. And then what I'm going to do is go and share the screen itself. So I'm going to choose screen 2. Okay, and as you can see, it's already added here to my content. So what I have to do is then make sure you're on the screen where the video content is. Click there, and there you go. So if I click through my presentation, you'll see my mouse moving, and you can present as you go. Now, obviously, we're not live now, so guys, but you get the point of how to go through it. And then let's say after that, we want to show, I don't know, your Microsoft Explorer. So we stop sharing this because then we have to add another one, and then we go share again, and we want to show this one, for example. So then we go here and we go to my desktop, and that's it. That shows you, the other screen, and then you send it live and all that. So let's stop sharing that as well. So that comes in very handy because you can, share your screen. Obviously, there's no interaction, and then people can see, and you can present, and you can talk over it and all that. Then this one here. So let's say, for example, you can add content and you can also add a video. So let's say, for example, you have a PowerPoint presentation or you want to add a video about that particular commercial you're launching on top of the presentation. You can do that as well. But that's pretty much the basic, guys. Like I said earlier, I don't want to go over everything, but I'm pretty sure you may have some questions. So feel free to add some questions below in the comments, and I will get back to you and answer them all. Maybe if it's worthwhile, I can do a specific video regarding one of your questions, depending on how many questions there are about the same topic. But yeah, that's everything for now for live events. So don't forget to share this video and to subscribe to our channel to see all the future presentations and tutorials by Level Up Networks. Thank you very much. Take care, guys. Until next time. To get the latest tutorials, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Until then, take care.